let's keep the assassination cringe train rolling. Because history clearly decided that if you can't beat evil with brilliance, you might as well faceplant into it with confidence. Welcome back to Midnight Meme Historian, where we don't just uncover history, we dig it up, roast it and feed it to the algorithm with extra sarcasm and a side of PTSD. If you're still here, congrats. You've already outlasted most of the CIA's plans. Let us jump into a story where the only thing more fragile than the assassin's plan was his self-esteem. 1973, Chile. Enter General Augusto Pinochet, a man whose personality made drywall look charismatic. Now this guy ruled like a budget Darth Vader, minus the lightsaber plus war crimes. And of course, someone tried to kill him. Several someones, actually. But the most comically awful attempt came from the Manuel Patriotic Front, who decided the best way to assassinate a heavily armored dictator was, wait for it, ambush his motorcade with bazookas. Yes, bazookas, because subtlety is for peasants. But did they get the right car? Of course not. They blew up everything except Pinochet, who somehow walked away with barely a scratch. The man basically dodged explosions like he had cheat codes. The attackers, most of them got caught because, surprise, launching heavy artillery on a city street tends to attract some attention. Imagine trying to kill a dictator and accidentally hitting a Fiat. Pinochet was so untouched. He even made a speech hours later like it was just a traffic delay. The plan was less strategic political resistance and more Call of Duty lobby filled with 12-year-olds. Even history looked at this and said, bruh. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, maybe modern history is full of idiots. But surely the ancients had more grace, more style. Oh honey, no. Let's take a detour to Rome, the land of orgies, vomitoriums and backstabbing so frequent they had loyalty cards. Julius Caesar, Mr. ET2, Brute himself. Everyone knows how he died, but fewer people talk about all the clowns who tried and failed before the Ides of March. There was at least one earlier conspiracy so poorly executed it makes middle school group projects look efficient. The conspirators planned to ambush him outside the Senate. Classic move. But one of them, Decimus Brutus, chickened out and told Caesar about it. And what did Caesar do? Did he arrest them? Punish the plotters? Nope, he forgave them because Caesar had that main character energy level of arrogance, where he thought he was invincible. Spoiler, he wasn't. Forgiveness only works if you're not surrounded by senators with trust issues and knives. And let us not forget Caligula, the emperor who thought he was a god and treated Rome like his personal OnlyFans. He made his horse a priest. He declared war on the sea, and eventually even his own guards had enough. But when the Praetorian Guard finally decided to off him, they went full Shakespeare meets Benny Hill. They stabbed him so many times it wasn't assassination, it was overkill with jazz hands. Some sources say over 30 stabs. That's not political murder, that's interpretive dance. But wait, it gets worse. The guards didn't have a backup plan. They thought killing Caligula would restore the Republic. Instead, Rome just shrugged and made his uncle Claudius emperor, a guy known for being mostly confused and hiding behind curtains. So yeah, their plan to bring back democracy ended with Emperor Confused-Face running the empire like it was a substitute teacher gig. Great job, guys. That's like canceling Elon Musk on Twitter only to find out he owns the platform. Now let's pivot to Japan, 1936, the February 26th incident. This was less an assassination attempt and more a bunch of junior officers cosplaying as revolutionaries and absolutely fumbling the bag. Their target, the Prime Minister and a few other government officials. Their plan, walk into government buildings with rifles and hope for the best. Bold strategy, cotton. They did manage to kill a few people, but then they just stopped. They literally sat around in government offices for days waiting for the emperor to say, "Good job, fellas." Instead, the emperor said, "What the hell is wrong with you?" and ordered them arrested. The rebellion crumbled like a TikTok influencer's skincare brand under FDA inspection. Most of the conspirators were executed, and the military tightened its grip, leading to, drumroll, more war crimes. So, the moral here is, don't try to spark a coup without a plan B, C, or any clue how politics works. And speaking of clueless, let's talk about Grigory Rasputin. Yes, that Rasputin. Russia's mystical frat bro turned royal family influence. There were more attempts on Rasputin's life than there were coherent policies in the Tsar's reign. The most famous one involved poison, bullets, drowning, and possibly witchcraft. Here's how it went down. Prince Felix Yusupov invited Rasputin over for pastries laced with cyanide. Rasputin ate them like they were Oreos and just didn't die. So they shot him. Rasputin went down, then got back up like a horror movie villain. They shot him again, still alive. They shot him 2 more times, then dumped his body in a freezing river. And still, rumors said he tried to crawl out. Rasputin was the original "you can't kill me, I've seen the group chat" energy. The assassination became so absurd it entered Russian folklore, next to bears playing accordions and Putin's judo skills. Imagine trying to kill a man and he responds with a vibe check. Honestly, Rasputin wasn't assassinated, he was resigned. His death was less planned murder, and more trial and error until something worked. Now, I can't bring up Rasputin without a quick nod to Vladimir Putin, the modern discount Dracula himself. No, I'm not saying people tried to assassinate him. I'm saying the way Russia clings to that guy makes Rasputin's influence look like a TikTok trend. At least Rasputin bathed occasionally and didn't spend his twilight years in a bunker role-playing as the Emperor from Star Wars. Putin looks like what happens when you put KGB training and divorce trauma into an AI blender and ask it to run a country. And speaking of AI, let's talk about the future of assassination. You think those clowns with poisoned cigars were dumb? Wait until someone tries to hack a smart toilet. That's right. We're only one bad tweet away from a failed assassination plot involving Alexa, a Roomba, and an NFT of Abraham Lincoln's beard. Don't laugh. That S already probably a think tank S proposal somewhere in DC. We've gone from swords and poisons to exploding seashells and poisoned pastries too. Digital misinformation. Today's assassinations don't need bullets, they need bots and broadband. Reputation kills faster than a bullet. And with half the US believing Facebook memes are gospel, it's no wonder half our political scandals look like rejected Black Mirror episodes. Want to destroy someone? Just deepfake them saying I eat puppies and watch Twitter do the rest. Assassination 2.0. Now with fewer corpses, more hashtags. Let's circle back to America, because what's more American than trying to kill a public figure and absolutely blowing it? Let me introduce you to Richard Lawrence, the guy who tried to shoot President Andrew Jackson in 1835 and failed twice. Not because he missed, no, because both of his pistols misfired. What are the odds? Actually, don't answer that. Just know the universe said not today, buddy. Jackson, being a walking Old Testament character, then beat the man half to death with a cane. That's not security detail. That's WWE. Even Congress was like, should we check his blood pressure? And in typical fashion, the attempt actually boosted Jackson's image. The guy was already racist, genocidal, and angry enough to make a porcupine look cuddly. But now he was a badass with presidential plot armor. It's the only time someone tried to kill a president and accidentally gave him a re-election bump. It's like trying to cancel a Kardashian and tripling their endorsement deals. America, baby. Coming up next, we're diving deeper into more jaw-dropping failures, because, believe it or not, we haven't even touched Napoleon's brush with bombs, the queen who got snubbed by a drunk assassin, or the king who got murdered by a dessert. Stick around, drop a comment if you've ever tried to assassinate your boss emotionally, and hit that subscribe button before the next episode of History Fails. Weaponized Stupidity Edition.